The Taconic State Park in Copake Falls, New York, is today a peaceful, scenic center for recreation and tourism, but it was once home to a bustling industrial center, the Copake Iron Works. Founded in 1845 by Lemuel Pomeroy of Pittsfield, Massachusetts, the ironworks sat in the perfect spot. Here in the forested hills, Pomeroy found everything he needed: iron ore, limestone, and endless trees to make charcoal, the key fuel for smelting iron. As the ironworks grew, so did the surrounding hamlet. The railroad arrived in 1852. The Taconic Wayside Inn opened in 1854 and is still open today. Immigrants, mostly Irish, came to work the blast furnace, foundry, and mines. In the woods, colliers made charcoal in giant pits, keeping the furnace fires fed. In 1862, the site was bought by Frederick Miles and his sons. A decade later, they expanded the operation, building a towering 32-foot furnace, an engine house, and even a narrow-gauge railroad. By the late 1800s, the Copake Iron Works was at its peak, the economic engine of a thriving community. But change came quickly. Steel from Pittsburgh, shrinking timber supplies, and shifting markets made the Copake operation unsustainable. In 1903, the last blast of the furnace cooled and the ironworks fell silent. 2 decades later, the land was folded into New York's growing park system, chosen not for its history, but to protect the scenic trails to the Bashbush Falls from the threat of commercial development. The ironworks, forgotten and overgrown, was left standing, and, as Edgar Masters explains, in 2008, the Friends of Taconic State Park stepped in. As a kid, did you know about the ironworks?
Not too much more familiar with the swimming, and as I grew older with the hiking, because that's what was emphasized in the park. The ironworks was just kind of here. And we all knew it was here, but we didn't pay much attention to it. Friends of Taconic State Park were formed in 2008. And we decided we're going to do something. And the do something turned out to be to try to preserve this ironworks. And the Friends have been extraordinarily successful at that. And the people in Copake Falls who have led that group have done a wonderful job. Our centerpiece, of course, is the furnace behind me, with the roof to protect it, with the arches rebuilt, with all of the shrubbery removed from it, the facing stones, the cement stones, replacing the original limestone marble blocks. But the other structures here are equally important. The engine blowing house, where the air was compressed and then sent to the top of the furnace, passed through heat exchangers and then pumped into the bottom to get the blast temperature up to 2,000 degrees. The brown building to my right, your left, was where the patterns were made for a product. There are other buildings here, the company store, the offices, the brick powder house, and the park manager's house, which was where the Iron Master lived. But there are more remaining ironworks structures in this complex than in any other in the Litchfield Iron District, which ran from Connecticut to Vermont.
And now the ironworks has a train again.
The Friends were not able to duplicate, obviously, the original Works Railroad because of crossing streams and state roads, but we have a replica off to my left, which is the same gauge, 3 feet. The engine, while driven gasoline, looks somewhat like the last engine that operated here in the late 1890s, early 1900s. We have a couple of ore cars for passengers to ride in, and we talk about the history of the ironworks and its fun.